Excellency, to our program. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you so much.
Pleasure and honor is mine. I'm very happy to be here.
First of all, we want to shed the lights on our bilateral relations between South Korea and Egypt.
Wow, it's super, just super. Since the establishment of our diplomatic ties in the year 1995, I think both of our nations have been deepening and enlarging the scope of cooperation in various kinds of fields. And I think the first milestone was the very successful visit by the Egyptian President, His Excellency Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, to Korea in the year 2016, when we signed what we call comprehensive cooperative partnership, meaning we have to diversify our cooperation into newer areas of potential cooperation. And as you may know, we had a very successful, another historic visit, to Egypt by the Korean President, confirming what we have done during the last 6 years since the Egyptian President visited to Korea in 2016, and we have done many things. So both of our top leaders gathered together to confirm what they have been doing, and they also agreed to go further in a more future-oriented way. That is why we were able to adopt a lot more different kinds of new cooperation, including like desalination, renewable energies, electric cars, even the defense industry, cooperation, and electronic government. Many new fields were incorporated into our realm of bilateral cooperation.
So we had also 25 years of cooperation between the two countries, between South Korea and Egypt. How did it develop during the last years?
It is always growing at a very steady pace, and going to like newer areas of collaboration. So since we have been so valuable strategic partners to each other during now it's 27 years. So I think naturally, not only the intergovernmental exchanges, but also the people-to-people exchanges, they have been developing step by step, further and further. And again, if I describe the relations during the past 27 years, it has been still expanding and also deepening. So both in terms of depth of our relations and also both in terms of the scope, the realm of the cooperation, it is going in the right direction, definitely.
So we have also a lot of cooperation. To what extent did Egypt and Korea have the ongoing major projects?
I have been witnessing very serious efforts by the Egyptian government to reform Egyptian economy, especially to upgrade, to improve the quality of Egyptian people's life, including like decent life initiative. And I have been witnessing all those kind of serious efforts, and also from the Egyptian people, they do have a serious willingness to develop further, and that is why Korea wants to be a part of such kind of meaningful process to contribute to the further development of the Egyptian economy and better improvement of the quality of people. And that is why Korea is ready to be a partner in such a kind of mega projects.
كوريا الجنوبية رسمياً جمهورية كوريا هي دولة ذات سيادة تقع في الجزء الجنوبي من شبه الجزيرة الكورية. تعد العلاقات بين مصر وكوريا الجنوبية قوية ووثيقة منذ القدم، حيث ترتبط الدولتان بأواصر تاريخية ثقافية. حيث أن العلاقات المصرية الكورية تمتد إلى عام 1948 حين اعترفت مصر رسمياً باستقلال كوريا الجنوبية. مصر كان لها دوراً في تحديد مستقبل كوريا بعد الحرب العالمية الثانية، كما شهدت العلاقات بين البلدين محطات مهمة تؤكد حرص البلدين على تعزيز التعاون الثنائي بينهما في كافة المجالات.
Excellency, can we say that Egypt is a strategic partner for Korea in the field of development?
Yes, really. Last year, I think it is kind of belated, initiative by the Korean government, but we designated Egypt to be our core partner countries in terms of development cooperation, meaning we come to have much more financial resources for like pursuing further bilateral cooperation in the field of development. And that is why, as I already mentioned, many kinds of mega projects happening between our two nations. That is why we are able to mobilize a lot more resources for making those kind of mega projects to proceed in a very successful way. You know why? First, we want to, as Korea was, Korea is the only country in the world who was able to transform its status from being the beneficiary of international assistance to a decent donor of it. Thanks to the assistance from the international society, including Egypt, Korea was able to get out of the economic difficulties. And we think now it's time for us to return what we have got from our friends back to them. So the fact that we designated Egypt to be core partner countries in development cooperation means, since we consider Egypt to be our strategic partner, it is not only good for our bilateral relations, but also I think we can contribute to the improvement of other countries in this region. For example, we can collaborate in manufacturing some electronic products like the facilities in Benisweb. We are producing those products not only for the domestic demand here, but we are exporting our products of Egypt and Korea to other countries in the region. It's kind of a future-oriented trilateral cooperation. That is why we designated Egypt to be our strategic partner in terms of our...
We want to appreciate the President's visit, the South Korean President to Egypt, and I think there were more than 4 agreements signed during his visit. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us more about it?
Yes, actually I think, more than 10 MOUs or agreements were signed at the time of the visit, which was for the first time in 16 years by the Korean president. But four documents were signed right in the presence of 2 presidents. And if I name them, first one is the MOU on the initiating joint research on a possible trade and economic partnership agreement, which is kind of an umbrella-like agreement, stipulating the future relations, trade and investment relations between our 2 countries. It deals with many aspects of our economic cooperation. We don't want to just increase the trade volume between our 2 countries. We want to go into deeper collaboration by way of increasing two-way investment between our 2 countries. 3 others are related to the very development cooperation. One is allowing Korea to invest around $1 billion of financial cooperation for our bilateral collaboration projects. So they signed the MOU. So for the following 5 years, we are ready to contribute at least such amount of financial resources for economic collaboration. The other two documents that were signed in front of the two presidents is related to the railway modernization projects between Aswan, Haidam, and Luxor. And I think that's definitely related to the people's life. I know you are trying to increase the safety and security of your railway system, and by signing those two MOUs, Korea showed our willingness to provide as much as like $310 million to be used for the modernization.
A huge amount.
A huge amount, but you deserve it. Egypt is a strategic partner to Korea, so we are very happy to be part of this noble process of improving our Egyptian people's life.
Great technology, so I hope we will transfer this experience to the field of transportation here in Egypt.
Oh, thank you for praising Korean technologies. Yes, in addition to the successful presidential visit, we had our transport minister visit this great country in February, and he had a very good bilateral consultation with his Egyptian counterpart, Transport Minister Wazir, and they agreed to increase their collaboration, especially in the field of railway affairs. That is why they signed the Memorandum of Understanding on the general cooperation in the field of railway sector. And also, we have many other specific cases of cooperation, including, firstly, we have been providing more than 256 Cairo metro trains to lines number 1 and number 3. However, here comes the technological transfer, and here comes the local manufacturing story.
Is it going to be a local manufacture or assembling here in Egypt?
Definitely, we are going for manufacturing. Cairo or other city metro trains, train cars here in Egypt. We're thinking of establishing the production facilities somewhere in East Port Side area belonging to the Suez Canal economic zone. And definitely we will be producing together, and we will be considering to ultimately export those products to other countries in the region.
It's time for South Korea to participate in such a field like restoration of the temple of Ramseum and mortuary temple. So I think it's the first experience for South Korea.
This kind of my dream field, and I made it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. At the time of my present visit, we were able to sign another MOU, very important MOU, on the what we call cultural heritage cooperation. It is mainly related to the excavation and the restoration and preservation of the cultural heritages in both of our countries. I think we should learn from each other. Both of our countries have a great expertise in those areas.
In both fields, yeah.
Right, and beyond that, we also have agreed to expand our collaboration in the field of UNESCO cooperation. At the UNESCO stage, we have a lot of things to cooperate, from inscription of our cultural heritages to also seeking different kinds of collaborations in helping other nations in need of those kind of technologies and experiences.
Do you have, Excellency, a number of professors of Egyptology? They have a background of Egyptian history, and restoration is another department.
Definitely. As I already mentioned, we have many experts, having enough experience in restoration and excavation and preservation of those cultural heritage. Because Korea also has, a long history of, ancient civilization, and we do have, wonderful cultural heritages still waiting to be restored. But however, I would say we don't have many experts.
You have few.
Yeah, we have few experts who do have ample experiences or knowledge on the very Egyptian cultural heritage. That is why we'd like to learn from this kind of process from our Egyptian counterparts.
You were telling me that you are helping Egypt in registration of places and sites in Egypt to the UNESCO.
As far as I understand, Korea has registered more than 15 world cultural heritage as the World Cultural Heritage at the UNESCO. However, Egypt was too early. Egypt came too early in that field. So I think, as for the number of the World Cultural Heritage registered by the Egyptian government is less than 10.
Yeah.
But I'm sure
we have a lot.
Yeah, you have
a lot of
more
sites.
than millions or billions of cultural heritage.
It's enough to talk about Luxor as a cultural heritage.
Right, Luxor has been designated already, but only one as a whole.
Yeah.
If you can divide Luxor into many meaningful
places,
heritages, I think Luxor alone can account for more than, I would say, million new world cultural heritages to be registered at the UNESCO.
How many students or people who are learning the Korean language? And we have a very good example. Dr. Sarah, she got already her PhD degree from Korea.
I'm very happy to see that more and more Egyptian people are interested in knowing about Korean culture and learning about Korean language. So I'm very happy. But, of course, back in Korea, there are a lot of Korean people who are interested in learning Arabic language. We have 6 Korean universities teaching Arabic language to their students, and many Korean high school students are learning Arabic language as a second foreign language.
As a second
foreign language? Yes. First foreign language is English. Second is Arabic.
Arabic.
Yeah.
Oh.
But also, I'm very happy to see that more and more Egyptian people are learning Korean language. We have like 2, very good Egyptian universities having Korean language department. One is Ain Shams University, and the other is Aswan University. Dr. Sarah,
yes.
One shining example. She came back from Korea. She's doing a great job being a professor at the Ain Shams University.
What will be the most interesting place or habits of the Egyptian people for the Korean tourists?
Before coming actually to here in Egypt, myself, including myself, many Korean people just think about sphinxes and pyramids. But after I arrived here in Egypt, I was able to travel here and there, starting from Alexandria down to Aswan and Abu Simbel. I was able to drive my personal vehicle during my holidays. And I was also astonished by not only by the wonderful cultural heritages everywhere in the territories of Egypt, but the natural beauties, including the white desert areas, and also the beautiful coastal destination like El Guna, Hurghada. I'm sure when Korean people come here, they will be captivated not only by the cultural heritage, but also by the natural beauties.
Let me ask you, what do you prefer from all our food in Egypt here?
Starting from El Koshari.
The koshari.
I like it very much.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the traditional food of Egyptian people.
I like it. and I like المحشي.
المحشي.
Especially those two products are very similar to their Korean counterpart. We have
A little bit
bibimbap.
spicy.
Spicy and mixing together everything, mixing everything.
You have a safe food.
We have bibimbap. We mix vegetables and steamed rice and meat all together in one bowl with hot chili sauce. That's what we call a bibimbap. And also we have 연잎밥, which is close to the concept of المحشي.
المحشي.
Yeah, wrapping things inside. But wrapping
inside the vegetables.
Yes, and wrapping and mixing is what? I see. Being open-minded, being open to other people.
Okay.
Yeah, being able to live together with other people.
Excellency, I know you have a very nice hobby. It's playing the saxophone, and you adore ثلاث دقات.
Yes, that's my favorite song. I'm a very still poor saxophone player, but I came to be captivated with the beauty of the song ثلاث دقات.
ثلاث دقات.
Yeah, whenever I attend the wedding ceremony. So
wedding ceremony,
yeah,
you enjoy?
I enjoy listening to ثلاث. That's why I decided to learn how to play my saxophone for the very song. So I practice hard, and I'm still practicing.
How many hours per day?
That's a secret. But well, since I was able to join a kind of several events where I can play the saxophone, so right prior to those kind of events, I practice hard, inviting one Egyptian professional saxophone player to teach me how to improve my skills.
South Korea is very popular with ginseng, so why is it so popular?
You know that, yes. Ginseng, Korea has been called like dynamic Korea, and I think ginseng is one of the sources of having this kind of dynamic power for Korean people. It's good for your health. And we are trying to export a lot of ginseng to Egypt and other countries in this region.
I think you are in Egypt here for more than a year, so you have a great opportunity. You had already a great opportunity to study Arabic language.
I'm still learning Egyptian Ammiya.
You're learning hard.
I'm learning hard. I'm learning Egyptian Ammiya because my purpose is to communicate with my Egyptian friends.
You are practicing Ammiya.
Ammiya.
So one phrase in Ammiya language. We want to hear it for our audience.
All right. اسمي 홍진욱, سفير كوريا الجنوبية. أنا مبسوط جدا إنكم معي النهاردة هنا في سفارة كوريا الجنوبية. شكرا جدا.
شكرا. احنا البرنامج اسمه جسور.
جسور.
Yes, it's bridges.
Bridges. It's like Korea.
Yes.
Wow, wonderful.
But between
Perfect.
two countries.
ممتاز.
Thank you so much, Excellency, for your time. It was a pleasure for us.
شكرا جدا. Thank you. It has been a great pleasure and honor for me.
The pleasure was mine.
Thank you.
Thank you.